Good afternoon. I'm Alex Fisher. You've been watching an NBC News special report on the impeachment trial of President Trump. The president's team just wrapped up its closing arguments today, pressing their case for acquittal. But today's proceedings come amid stunning revelations by the former National Security Advisor John Bolton. NBC's Susan McGinnis has more.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice.
President Trump's legal team, in its final day of arguments, making the case that he should not be removed from office.
To lower the bar of impeachment based on these articles of impeachment would impact the functioning of our constitutional republic and the framework of that Constitution for generations.
But shockwaves outside the Senate chamber continue today after revelations about a forthcoming book by former National Security Advisor John Bolton. The New York Times quotes sources who have seen the manuscript as saying President Trump admitted he withheld aid to Ukraine in an effort to get political dirt on the Bidens. The president's lawyer is trying to minimize the Bolton revelations, but putting mounting pressure on Republicans who don't want to allow witnesses at the trial.
President Trump and Ambassador Bolton said diametrically opposed things. Only one of them is willing to testify under oath. Who do you believe?
Democrats need 4 Republicans to join them later this week when the Senate votes on witnesses.
I don't think they're all settled as a group or as individuals as to exactly how they're going to vote. But I'd like to hear from John Bolton.
And if Bolton testifies, Republicans say he won't be alone.
If people want witnesses, we're going to get a lot of witnesses.
The president's defenders raising the prospect of calling the witnesses they want to hear from, beginning with Joe Biden and his son. Susan McGinnis, NBC News, Washington.
Here at home, deliberations started fresh this morning, the Leslie Chance murder trial. After nearly a week of deliberating, an alternate juror arrived to the courthouse yesterday. Judge Charles Brimmer says one juror has been excused due to financial reasons, citing the fact that her employer would not continue paying her after yesterday. Judge Brimmer says all prior deliberating must be discarded, and they started with their deliberations again today. Prosecutors say Chance planned and then carried out the murder of her husband after she discovered he had rekindled a romance with a former girlfriend. Chance's attorney says the evidence is flimsy and argues the prosecution case is built entirely on unreliable circumstantial evidence. If Chance is found guilty, she faces life in prison. Deliberations continued earlier today. We're now learning more details about a deadly accident yesterday. The accident happened on Hermosa Drive at South Edison Road around 4 o'clock yesterday. An 80-year-old man was driving southbound on Hermosa Drive when he crashed with another car after failing to stop at the stop sign. He was ejected from the car and died. He was identified as 80-year-old Amos Toy. A 32-year-old woman in the other vehicle was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. It is unclear if drugs or alcohol were factors in the crash. All right, let's turn things over to Kevin Charette, who is live this afternoon from Lake Tahoe. He is bundled up on the beach, it looks like, and he's got a look at your forecast. Good afternoon, Kev.
Good afternoon, Alex. Yes, I'm on the shores here at Lodgewood at Tahoe. It's a resort. This is where my conference is today, and you can see the sheer beauty of Lake Tahoe. Because of the sun purposes, I had to adjust the shot, but I'm going to get out of the way and try to pan over so you can really see the beauty of this lake and the mountains. It is just beautiful out here today. It is a little bit on the windy side as well, but I'll tell you, I've been up here for several days, and I've been able to explore. And yesterday I went up on the mountain to shoot some video of Heavenly. And if you've never been to Tahoe or Heavenly, it is heavenly, I'll tell you that much. They have 97 trails up that way, 9 lifts. They have a tube park that I was able to kind of go look at, aside from the tube park I featured yesterday. There's 4,800 skiable acres up in Heavenly, and it sits at about an elevation of 10,000 feet. I had to take the gondola up that way, and on average, about 360 inches of snow each year. Right now, they sit at about 175 inches. So you can see a lot of people enjoying themselves yesterday afternoon. And some people I talked to, they don't ski, they don't snowboard. They just took the gondola up and were enjoying themselves out there at the lodge. And in the video, I think I wish I could have showed a little bit more, but the lodge is beautiful and the food was great. But really, I'm here for a weather conference, and just inside, we've been talking about fire weather, different types of weather instruments that are being used going into 2020 to help forecasters predict fire weather and how to get more warning out for folks so there's not a catastrophic event like we've seen in previous fires. So today wraps up the conference. I've got much more on your forecast coming up in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about snowmaking. Alex?
All right, Kev. Look forward to it. Thanks so much. Efforts to identify a man whose body was found in the Kern River continues today. The discovery was made yesterday while search and rescue crews were looking for the body of a young girl. The 11-year-old was swept away by the Kern River near Keysville last June. A few times a year, the Army Corps of Engineers shuts the outflow from the dam for routine maintenance. KCSO took this opportunity yesterday to look for the girl. 16 volunteers spent about 5 hours trying to get a better look with lower water levels.
We would like to find her and give her family some closure. Unfortunately, as the time passes, the difficulties increase and the likelihood is reduced. But we're going to still make every effort that we can.
The girl was not found, but the team did find a man's body in the Keysville area. The body was not badly decomposed, that's according to KCSO, which says it is not aware of anyone else missing in the river. KCSO will continue their efforts to search for the girl on Friday when the dam is set to close again. As family, friends, and people across the nation mourn for Kobe Bryant and the 8 other lives lost in the helicopter crash on Sunday, attention is now turning to what caused the accident. NBC's Jennifer Bjorklund has more.
He is not just a person, he's a generation.
L.A. awash in purple and gold to honor a favorite son, his daughter, and others just like them. Carrie, John, and Alyssa Altobelli. Sarah and Peyton Chester also on board. And Christina Mauser, a mother of 3 who coached with Bryant.
My 3-year-old's screaming for mom. So, what do?
Pilot Ara Zabayan took off from Orange County Airport at 9:08 a.m., headed to Mamba Academy in Thousand Oaks, but with clouds and fog, requested special visual rules for low ceilings.
Helicopter 2 Echo X-ray with you for the special VFR transition. We are currently at 1400.
Radar shows the Sikorsky nearing Calabasas as the pilot asks for guidance from air traffic control.
2 Echo X-ray, you're still too low level for flight following at this time.
Then nothing. The chopper climbed, then descended while turning left before disappearing off the radar at 9:45 a.m. on this rugged Calabasas hillside. Investigators are asking for pictures of weather conditions around the scene of the crash at around the time of the crash on Sunday so that they can get a better picture of what the pilot was facing and give the family and fans some answers. Jennifer Bjorklund, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Well, still ahead, coronavirus concerns continue as the death toll in China spikes overnight, and health officials there say more than 1,000 people, or close to 1,000 people, are severely sick. The new concerns coming up. Welcome back to your 17 Health Watch. In China, 106 people have died from the coronavirus and more than 4,000 cases have been reported. The State Department said a chartered flight will depart Wuhan, China later tonight, carrying as many Americans as possible. NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer has more.
More than 200 Americans are being airlifted out of Wuhan. This is the epicenter of the virus outbreak, which has been locked down for nearly a week. People taking the flight will be screened for symptoms, and when they land, they'll be quarantined for 14 days in the U.S. But there are still hundreds of Americans stuck in Wuhan, and for them, there's no way out.
This morning, getting out of Wuhan. Americans stuck at the epicenter of the virus outbreak.
I'm more than a little concerned about what would happen if one or both of us got sick.
A flight organized by the State Department, the only lifeline for U.S. consulate staff and a handful of other Americans.
To the U.S., yeah. So your Nana and your Papa, huh?
We are going to the airport.
A tense drive to the airport for Jacob Wilson from Louisiana, working at a tech startup here.
I love you.
Love you. Safe
trip. Worse, the drive back. He didn't get a call to board the flight.
If there was a bigger plane that could fit everybody, I definitely want to be on it.
The virus now spreading rapidly, with more than 4,500 confirmed cases in China, most of them in Wuhan. In the U.S., there are now 5 confirmed cases, with 110 people being evaluated in 26 states. The CDC dramatically expanding screenings, adding extra staff to 20 airports where passengers can be quarantined. American health officials also advising travelers to avoid all non-essential trips to China because of the virus. Ground zero for the virus, believed to be this market in Wuhan that sold live animals and wildlife for consumption. Authorities confirming the virus can be transmitted from human to human through coughing, sneezing, and other personal contact. For the hundreds of Americans left behind here, fear and uncertainty. Wuhan sealed off, hospitals overwhelmed and short on supplies. Jacob's brother Ben wanted to at least get his 7-year-old daughter Jasmine to family in the U.S., but says U.S. officials here have offered little help, leadership, or information.
We don't know how long this is going to last, and we have no assurances. We'd have no idea right now. We're kind of lost.
For the hundreds of Americans who are still there, many of whom wanted to get on that flight today, the State Department is saying nothing about more planes to get them back home. Janice Mackey-Freyer, NBC News, Beijing.
Alrighty, another chilly day here in the Golden Empire. Let's turn things over to Kevin Charette, who's really bundled up and probably is laughing at us when we say it's chilly because, Kev, where you are in South Lake Tahoe, it's very cold.
Well, there is a front moving through California. The winds are really strong here in Lake Tahoe right now. I've been hoping my camera wasn't going to blow over, and you can kind of hear that wind blowing, but makes for a beautiful sight. You can see over the lake some clouds moving in right now, and as I look in the distance, I think we've even got some snow falling over the mountains. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now, but it is definitely chilly out here, and it has been relatively dry here at Lake Tahoe. The only snow that I've seen since I arrived on Sunday was Sunday morning, and it was in and out pretty quick. So you may be wondering, what do folks do at Lake Tahoe when there's no snow in terms of for the skiers? Well, this morning I was able to talk to the guy in charge of all the snowmaking up at Heavenly. His name is Brian Hickman, and he's been doing this for years, and it's just amazing to see how they make snow when there is no snow falling from the sky. They have complex systems, and you're looking at video right now of the snowmaking capabilities up in Heavenly. It's all computer-based. So when I was talking to Brian this morning, they have to have conditions just right to turn them on, but they can be turned on by an iPhone. You can sit at home and see the conditions are just right in certain areas of the slopes, and he can flip a switch, and those snow guns come on. So in times when there's no storms bringing snow into Lake Tahoe along the slopes up in Heavenly, well, guess what? Brian and his crew can actually make the snow, and that in return keeps the season going even if these storms don't push in. So it was very interesting to learn kind of the snowmaking process here up at Tahoe. On the weather front, back home, you didn't see the fog this morning, so that was a good thing. It all stayed north. Today, you're looking at mostly sunny skies, and again, slowly warming up here this afternoon. We are expecting 59 in Bakersfield. I wish I could have that here in Tahoe, along with Wasco and Taft at 57, and you'll be looking at a northwest wind right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For the mountains today, mostly sunny skies. Overall, a pretty nice day. Still a little bit on the breezy side for you. Again, that's being attributed to that weak front pushing through the state right now. It's only bringing a few high clouds, and that's about it. We're looking at Fraser Park at 54 today, 51 in Tehachapi. We're right near 60 into the Kern River Valley. Also, look for that west wind, 15 to 25. So still keeping that breeze around into the mountains as well. And then for the desert, a little bit breezy out that way, but overall a mild day in terms of your temperature. So get out and enjoy it. Up into Ridgecrest, you'll be looking at mostly sunny skies and 65. As we take a look at the extended forecast here for you, very little change. Tomorrow, I think we'll see a little bit more cloud cover around the area. But look at the weekend. It is just going to be beautiful. We're in January, and we've got lower 70s Saturday and Sunday. So the valley's going to get warm, but guess what? The mountains, we're also going to warm up a little bit, and you're looking at some very nice temperatures heading into Friday, Saturday, Sunday as well, with those 60s returning. In fact, Saturday, Sunday, 65 degrees on the high. And then for the Kern River Valley, you're also looking very nice with temperatures into the 70s starting Friday through Saturday and Sunday. So a very nice weekend for Bakersfield and surrounding areas. And guess what? I will be back in town. In fact, I will be back on Sunrise Thursday morning. And then tonight on 17 News at 5, I'll be live again here from Tahoe from the downtown corridor probably. Or maybe we'll return to this area and look at the sunset, Alex.
It is absolutely gorgeous there where you are, Kev, though. So thanks so much. All right, well, we'll be right back after this.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. Tax forms can seem daunting and confusing, but in an effort to simplify the process, the IRS has overhauled the federal income withholding form. Mary Maloney has what you need to know about the new W-4.
For the first time in years, the IRS updated the Federal Income Withholding Form, or W-4. The change reflects the new tax code Congress approved in 2017. The new form has been divided into 5 steps, and you could skip questions that don't apply to your situation. One major change is that it took away allowances, because the new tax law eliminated personal exemptions. Instead, the form directly asks you how many children and dependents you have, and you have to multiply that number by the amount of the federal tax credit. It also simplified the section about other income. Now you just have to check a box if you work 2 jobs. Or if you have a spouse who works. You only need to fill out a W-4 if you started a new job in 2020. But tax specialists encourage workers to review their withholdings each year. If too little is deducted, you may get a smaller refund or possibly owe money at tax time. If too much is deducted, you might get a fat check at tax time. But you're basically giving the government a no-interest loan throughout the year. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
All right, well, still to come, strong as a 3rd grader. A kid is hitting the gym daily and building some serious muscle. How much is 3rd graders deadlifting after the break? Welcome back. A 3rd grader is making headlines, breaking weightlifting records. Jeremy Roth has today's look at this.
This 9-year-old Louisiana boy can deadlift 230 pounds, and it's as impressive as it is emasculating for the rest of us sad sacks. The deadlift is just one of 3rd grader Tate Fegley's feats of strength. He can also bench press 92 pounds and squat 190 pounds. He works out every morning with his trainer.
He works ridiculously hard, and it's very motivating to see.
He's reportedly broken multiple records in his weight class, including 3 in one day. This summer, the small wonder will head to Florida to try for a national title. A woman led Florida authorities on a tense, high-speed chase that didn't end well. DeLand police said the woman fled a traffic stop, sparking the pursuit. The van was seen zigzagging through traffic and pulling a sudden U-turn, and moments later, it leaves the roadway.
She's losing control here. Signal 4, roll over.
The woman crawled out of the crash and was immediately taken into custody.
Hand! Show me your hand!
Local media report she has a lengthy criminal history. Finally, a southern Indiana artist is using a children's toy to make some truly impressive art. Carrie Johns has carved out a niche, cranking out elaborate original works on Etch-a-Sketches. While most use the classic toy to make simple staircases and other rigid forms, this Floyd's Knobs resident uses these knobs to craft intricate and detailed works. And as a bonus, they already come pre-framed. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Here's a look at the intersection of Rosedale at Mohawk. As you can see, the sun's starting to come out later this afternoon, and things are going to warm up later today. Thanks so much for joining us for 17 News at noon. We'll see you back here tonight at 5.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.